All right, I thought that my voice was being recorded here, and it turns out it wasn't. So I am now recording it after the fact, which is lame, but that's what's happening. Anyways, this is just a replay, and I just wanted to share how ridiculous it is because I'm using the cheesiest deck that I could possibly find. It I played against this deck, it kicked my ass, and I was like, what do I do? What do I get? I figured copying it would be the best choice since I have no idea like how to counter it and still have a deck that's worth playing. That isn't just straight up an anti-spam deck. And that's what this is probably the absolute epitome of a spam deck. It's the cheesiest thing I've ever seen in my life, and I respect that of it. But the gist of it is, it's revolving around blood imps and a bunch of different puffs, like all the puffs basically, and everything else is just in support of that. It also has a blood golem, which I I believe is there for if everything starts to go to shit and you have a lot of mana build up, you can just dump one of those down, and if you're gonna lose health from blood imps. So that's the way to keep you going. You can see here I started speeding up. It's a fairly long match, so we had to go a little faster here. But this is when it starts coming alive. When you start to see the giant mass on the bridge, that's usually a good indicator that something is working at this deck. And I have no idea how many puffs are on those bridges. And if you don't have a good counter, if you don't have lightning bolt or something, and even then, lightning bolt is susceptible to the Switch, the Nintendo Switch, no, the stupid King Puff Switch. So you just have to hit it, and it's gone. Chain lightning doesn't go across the Switch. But yeah, it's ridiculous. It's eventually I'm just sitting here spamming everything, and eventually I get him down. I think it's already down to 460, and it stays that way for a while because he's using the undead resurrection dude. And I'm at some point in here I'm laughing hysterically, and I'm barely even playing. I'm literally just pounding the keys and not even looking at the screen because I'm laughing so hard. And it is, I'm not even, I'm realizing like I can't beat him, and then I eventually, in all of this, it's gonna take a while, like several minutes from now apparently, since I'm only 3 minutes into an 8-minute video. uh, I realize, oh, I should stop spawning all these units and getting them killed before they take 3 steps into his territory, and I wait. uh, but it's just ridiculous that this works as well as it does. See, I try to speed it up so that I can get to that point faster, but it's lowering my frame rate so much that I have to stop doing it because there's so many units on here. And I can imagine what that guy in game. I was losing frame rates. I was down into I was below 20 frames per second for this. And I don't have the best computer in the world, but a pretty midline computer. This many units made it just chug. And if this guy didn't have a computer, at least as good as that, he's probably in the single digits. And that, it explains he probably can't spawn that many units to begin with because he's got, disruptor puffs all over the place. But he doesn't really spawn anything for a while. It keeps going. This is just a lot of fun. I think we're almost there. We're getting there. Um, but it's just a mean deck. It's just a mean deck to play, and it just fly through. Okay, here I finally stopped. Look at all those puffs. That's incredible, isn't it? But you'll just fly through people. You'll either completely obliterate them, or you'll fight really hard against someone who's got anti AOE stuff, like at least 2 or 3 units, because the lightning bolt is in place to stop the single unit anti anti group, anti swarm stuff, and it works really well because a lot of people will be like, oh, I'll just throw, a whirly scrat or an annihilator or a colossus in there. And well, usually people don't put a colossus in to stop just uh, swarms, but it's in there to stop because a lot of the anti-swarm units are just one big unit, and this is probably it works well enough. I think when you put it with the rest of the stuff with the amazing amount of blood imps that you end up with, then it works out pretty well. And here I'm just sort of showing you how I swapped out. It used to have Blood Golem, and I swapped out Colossus because I think that you kind of have to be in a bad situation to be using Blood Golem. Like, it'll work really well for you, but at the same time, like, you already have to be in a situation you're probably going to lose to throw the Blood Golem out there. And I feel like just about anything could be useful. Like, anything could be more useful in any other position in the game. So I decided Colossus would probably be a good middle ground for dealing with probably one of the better counters for this. Another mass, like a Ratbow, and his mass, and a group of a lot of units would probably be a good counter for this. But in general, there's not like a normal deck that's a really good counter for this. Like, it's just a mean collection. And there's King Puff, also part of the deck. I think he works better than Ratbow. I thought about switching it to Ratbow, and I was thinking about what you would have to do with that. And while it would be amazing if you could get him to level 2 or 3 or wherever he gets well, actually, doesn't it might be level 1 or whatever level it is that he gets universal range. That would be amazing for this because you pretty much always have that. But at the same time, you wouldn't be able to have the switch to counter all of the chain lightnings, and when someone throws an annihilator at you and you don't have anything to stop it, like a lightning bolt, or there's multiple AoEs, that would be a rough time for Ratbow. But this is coming to the end, finally. So, as you can see, I'm explaining how I'm not that good, and this deck doesn't make me good, but it is a bunch of cheese, and you can have cheese fun with it, so try it out.